A rough start for the UNLV Rebels in their home opener of 2015. First meeting against number 13 UCLA. Already 7-0 Bruins. Carter Blackburn, Aaron Taylor, Ginny Dell. UNLV with a bad snap. Second straight week that the center Will Kreitler has had a snap that sails over the head of Blake Deckard. This was the last play from scrimmage, backing UNLV up all the way to its own 3. Already down 7-0 in the early going against UCLA. Second and 32, handing off to Whiteley, who gets it out to the 10. Two critical plays early, both go UCLA's way. After a 3-and-out by UNLV, Goforth muffs the punt. UNLV appears to recover it, but the football is awarded to UCLA, and Josh Rosen quickly makes UNLV pay with a touchdown strike to Jordan Payton.
Yeah, I think we're a little all baffled about what happened on that muff punt, because clearly the Rebels recovered it. Head coach Tony Sanchez was livid at the call. No explanation appears to have been given.
There was a flag thrown for kick-catch interference, then announced that there was no penalty flag, and yet the football went to UCLA. Still seeking further clarification on that. But UCLA took the football and quickly took it into the end zone. So Josh Rosen, one of the stars of the opening week of the 2015 college football season. 3 touchdown passes last week against Virginia. Already 1 tonight against the Rebels.
They opened up tonight's game taking a couple deep shots off play action. He started out 0-2, but then he settled down and recovered and completed 2 straight passes. The last pass to Jordan Payton for the touchdown.
Yunker will punt again for UNLV. This time it's Devin Fuller back for UCLA after the muff by Goforth earlier. Fuller makes the grab, and he's drilled as soon as he grabs it. Nice open field tackle from Kemble Jensen.
Performance, hydration, recovery, Advocare. Use it. The pros do. Advocare is the official sport.
We apologize for the technical difficulties. This is UCLA's second drive. A 7-0 lead already as Josh Rosen, the true freshman from Manhattan Beach, California, a touchdown pass on the opening drive for UCLA. Now the Bruins have it 3rd and 2. Perkins motions out. Rosen delivers a strike for a first down. Duarte makes the catch and takes it to the 25. An 18-yard pickup on 3rd down.
UCLA doing a good job of just hitting quick slants. Look how quickly Rosen delivers this football right in stride. The Rebels are going to have to play a little bit more tighter press man coverage to try and reroute these receivers.
Bruins hurry up. The toss. Turning around the 20-yard line to set up 2nd down. Steven Johnson takes it on the toss for a gain of 5.
When you get down inside here in the 20, either take shots for the end zone or use Perkins' legs. I would run it here with 24.
Play action instead. Slant bobbled but caught by Devin Fuller short of the first down. Nice tackle from Torrey McTire, the corner who was from LA.
That was a nice tackle from McTire. Tackling was an issue for this Kent Bear-led defense a week ago. That's going to be very important for them here tonight to be able to make sure that they get themselves off the field. Here's a big third down. Interesting to see the philosophy. Do they come after and try and blitz Rosen and try to affect his throw?
Third and 3, screen, incomplete. Off the hands of Mossy Johnson.
That was a catchable ball for Mossy Johnson. It had some mustard on it. Rosen threw that ball pretty hard, but that's a catch he's got to be able to catch. It was a pretty good position, right at his head level, a little bit higher, but it forces the Bruins to try the field goal here to try to take a 10-0 lead.
35-yarder coming from Fairbairn, who's hit 31 straight from 35 and in. Make it 32 straight for Fairbairn from 35 and in. So Jim Morris Bruins up early, 10-0 in Vegas.
College football on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by TrueCar. When buying a car, save time, save money, and never overpay. Visit TrueCar.com. By Advocare, we build champions. And by the all-new Chrysler 200, ready to take on the world.
UCLA's first trip to Sam Boyd Stadium, home of the UNLV Rebels. New head coach Tony Sanchez. And to emphasize the Las Vegas here at Sam Boyd Stadium. Our Allegro weather says yes, it is a warm but dry evening here in the desert. Past 8 o'clock Las Vegas time, we are still with temps in the mid-90s.
Baby powder. That's all I got to say is baby powder.
The imagination take you wherever. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Taylor.
Thank you, thank you.
10-0 start for UCLA. A touchdown pass from Rosen, a field goal from Fairbairn. And his kickoff will go for a touchback. Rebel football at the 25. Let's take a look at tonight's TrueCar keys to success. The Rebels are already down 10-0. There were already long shots. What do they have to do?
Yeah, I think they've got to be able to run the football to possibly shorten this game and keep their defense fresh. They've got to be able to do a good job in the red zone. So believe it or not, even though they're down 10-0, forcing UCLA to kick a field goal on that last possession was big. And finally, big plays. UCLA's really good at it. UNLV has to do an exceptional job on both sides of the football to be able to get themselves back into this game and have a chance to win, Carter. But we also have a flag down on the field.
Number 33, 5-yard penalty will be added to the dead ball spot. First down.
Meaning UNLV football at the 30-yard line. For Tony Sanchez, who won 6 straight state titles at Bishop Gorman High School. Our Chick-fil-A starting lineup, bit of a wrinkle. The starting quarterback was Blake Decker. We bring you the Chick-fil-A starting lineup. It's the 3rd UNLV series, and it's Kurt Palandak, the sophomore from Plainfield, Illinois. Redshirted 1 year North Dakota, then 1 year at Laney College in Oakland. And now on the 3rd series, he hands off to Lexington Thomas, the true freshman and running back for UNLV. The rest of the starting offense, Devontae Boyd is the go-to target. The sophomore from Henderson, Nevada. 64-yard touchdown versus Northern Illinois last week for the Mountain West Conference Freshman of the Year from a season ago.
They need to try and get Boyd involved early, but Palandak is their running quarterback. Watch his legs.
Palandak hands off again. It's going to be 3rd and long, which means this UCLA defense will have a chance to tee off as McKinley makes the stop there. Starting lineup for the UCLA defense without Eddie Vanderdoes, the leader of the defensive line. So the rest of those leaders will have to step up, including Dion Hollins, the outside linebacker slash defensive end, comes at it off the edge for the Bruins.
Dion Hollins has elite get off. He looks like his head is tied to the football with a string. When the ball is snapped, he is off and past the O-lineman.
3rd and 7. Palandak forced to throw. Step up, deep shot, incomplete. Intended for Devontae Boyd with Moreau and Goforth both in coverage.
This is the third straight 3-and-out for UNLV. Keep in mind that the defense has been on the field twice as many plays for the Rebels as been their offense. They're going to wear down pretty quickly. They've got to be able to get something going offensively. And if you're on the defensive side of the ball, if you're the Rebels, you've got to try and make a play and get the ball back with some takeaways.
3 possessions for UNLV, 3 3-and-outs. Yunker to punt again. Devin Fuller will let it bounce inside the 35. And the Rebels down it at the 29-yard line. So our Chick-fil-A starting lineup for the UCLA offense, of course, begins with Josh Rosen. 1 game plus into his college career. He is already the star many predicted this 18-year-old from Manhattan Beach would become. Family lives around the corner from the Mora family. UCLA head coach Jim Mora says Josh Rosen not only impressive with what he does on the field, says he is mature beyond his years. Nate Starks joins him in the backfield. Play fake. Rosen swings it to Starks out of the backfield. Wrestled down as he reaches the 35-yard line. Johnson on the stop. Take a look at the rest of the UCLA offense. Jake Brindle, the 5th-year senior, a 4-year starter, 2-year captain, one of only 9 scholarship seniors on this UCLA team, the leader of that offensive line. Starks straight ahead. First down for the Bruins. And for the UNLV defense, it begins up front with Sonny Toa, the senior defensive end from American Samoa, a team captain and the leader of this UNLV defense. Give it right back to Nate Starks on first down.
One of the things that UCLA likes to do is establish the run up front. This offensive line, Carter, you mentioned Jake Brindle. It's as good as I've seen this unit look in quite some time. They're finally healthy. They got a ton of experience up there, and they were going to need this big unit down the stretch in the Pac-12 South.
Starks takes it again to the 50. He's dragged down by Najee Johnson. Now one more hit for UNLV. Ta Lotulelei, their weak side linebacker, is a scratch tonight, one of the best defenders for the Rebels.
On the last third down, defensive coordinator Ken Bear brought a little bit of pressure. I don't know if that affected the throw and the result, which was a field goal, but they're going to have to manage the pressure they bring because Rosen's a very good decision maker.
Rosen on 3rd and 5, incomplete, knocked away, intended for Massington. And McTire there on the coverage, that junior corner from LA's Cathedral High School. Forces the first UCLA punt.
Rosen seemed a little indecisive there. There was a little bit of late seepage, so he had to throw the ball up over the top to be able to get it over the hand of a defender that was in his face. But once again, they're forced to punt here, and the Rebels do a good job on 3rd down.
Mingle hits it. It'll bounce inside the 5. Bruins can't down it inside the 5. Tony Sanchez mic'd up earlier this week at UNLV practice. We'll listen in when we come back.
Come on, Baldwin, have a good day. Let's go, guys, let's go. There you go. Let the ball take you downhill. Let the ball take you downhill. You started. He's down right there. Let's go, let's go. Spot that ball, let's go. Hey, good job of planting your foot and getting upfield. Hey, you got 120, no timeouts. 120, no timeouts. Got to kick a field goal. Yep, hit a field goal. Come on now. Let's go, baby. Rebels on me, Rebels on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Aaron, you got right off the plane and went to UNLV practice the other day to watch Tony Sanchez and the Rebels. What were your impressions of UNLV practice?
They were invigorated, and there was a new energy around this program. Tony Sanchez, a local guy, really done a great job of inviting the community, and I think it's making an impression already.
Blake Decker back at quarterback for the 4th series, still looking for a first down, and there it is. Devontae Boyd, the outstanding sophomore wide receiver from Henderson, hauls it in for a 36-yard completion.
That ball was on the money. Just a good job by Blake Decker. Good protection there. There was some late pressure by Deion Hollins on the backside, but a beautifully placed ball on the wheel route to Devontae Boyd out of the backfield, getting great inside position on Marcus Rios for the big pickup in the first down.
Devontae Boyd, who was originally from the New Orleans area, relocated to Nevada after Hurricane Katrina. We're talking about Tony Sanchez, the native of Livermore, California in the East Bay, son of a police officer, oldest of 4 boys, said he didn't want to be 70 years old sitting on the porch sipping lemonade saying, you know what, I should have taken a chance. So he had a really good job at Bishop Gorman, 6 straight state titles, but he took the chance making the rare jump from high school to the major division of college football. Decker hands off to Whiteley. 3rd down coming up, tackled by Clark.
That was 2 power plays in a row, and Whiteley should have stayed on the outside hip of the pulling guard that time. UNLV coaches told us that they wanted to establish the run inside. They didn't feel like they had enough speed to be able to get to the edges with this speedy defense, so they were going to use some short controlled passes to the outside to be able to establish that run game. But here's a much important 3rd down. Remember, this is a team that has the ability to be able to run inside when they need to. Can they do it here?
Decker, slant caught. First 3rd down conversion of the night. It's Devontae Boyd again. He had a critical drop at the end of last week's game against Northern Illinois. Coming back strong early.
I like Decker's ability with his opportunity to throw more accurate passes this year. Accuracy is a function of not only throwing it to the right guy, but knowing when to throw it, and Decker did a good job with both of those on that last one for the big pickup.
The 24-year-old senior from Mesa, Arizona. Decker keeps it, shakes his way for a few yards on the first down keeper. Wadu makes the stop there. So UNLV, after a string of 3 and outs, now finally has made it to the red zone. Our Verizon red zone. Last week against Northern Illinois, 3 trips inside the 20, only 1 touchdown.
And that was really the difference, because when Northern Illinois did it, they had 4 trips inside the red zone and came away with 4 touchdowns. This is going to be an important drive for UNLV. If they want to win this game, they must score a touchdown here.
Decker to the goal line, incomplete. Kendall Keys, a lot of contact, no flag. Keys the intended receiver. Fabian Moreau there in coverage.
I agree with you. There was a lot of contact, and he shoved him out of bounds right in front of the official. But remember, early on in the ball game, these officials were letting a little bit of the chicken fighting going down. They're allowing for physicality on both sides. So as physical as that looked, what's fair is fair.
3rd and 5 in the red zone for Decker and the Rebels. Batted away. Incomplete. 4th down coming. Jacob Tuioti Mariner, the sophomore from Corona.
You can see him setting up and timing it. For a defensive lineman, that's just as good as a pass breakup and a cornerback making a great play. Good heads-up awareness to force the field goal here. And again, Carter, the same red zone woes that the Rebels had a week ago are showing up here early in this game. But if they get these 3 points, that's going to give them some confidence that they can put drives together and hang with one of the better teams in the country.
Nikolai Bournand on for the 35-yarder. Fake! UCLA snuffs it out. Second chance, Hawthorne heaves it. Incomplete. UNLV goes for the fake field goal. It's snuffed out. Deion Hollins puts the pressure on the holder, Hawthorne, and UCLA still holds on to its 10-0 lead. Deion Hollins makes the stop on the fake field goal. Still a 0 on the board for UNLV. 10-0 start for the Bruins on the Rebels on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Tomorrow, the NFL on CBS, home to Super Bowl 50, kicks things off with a big-time doubleheader. First, the Chiefs challenge the Texans while the Dolphins face off with the Redskins. Then Flacco and the Ravens match up with Peyton and the Broncos, while Mariota and Winston begin their careers in Tampa. Check local listings. NFL Today presented by Southwest Airlines. And speaking of Jameis Winston, comparisons made this week. Josh Rosen's debut versus Virginia, what Jameis Winston did in his debut against Pitt.
And the numbers on that graphic that stand out the most to me are 0 for both of them in the interception column.
Josh Rosen hands off on first down. Perkins back in there running back. So when you went back over Josh Rosen's performance against Virginia, what impressed you the most?
It was the nuances in his understanding of the position, not just arm strength and throwing it to the right guy, but when he threw it to the right guy, how he threw it to the right guy, his play fakes on play action, looking off safeties, things that usually don't show up till much later on.
Zips this one complete to the 35. That's Jordan Payton, who is brought down by Penny Vea. But Payton makes the grab on another rope from Josh Rosen.
They're running these quick slants inside. UNLV has to press these guys a little bit more. They're allowing the receivers free releases inside, and Rosen's going to make that pitch and catch all night long unless they make some adjustments.
Play fake again. Pressure. Rosen delivers the deep ball. Incomplete. Intended for Payton. More contact, but as you pointed out, Aaron, they're letting it go.
And that's the third overthrow we've seen out of Josh Rosen. He started the game out 0 for 2. One of those was a deep shot. He had another overthrown ball. This receiver was wide open, but he overthrows him. We saw that touch that he had in the first game, but he's not nearly as sharp here on the road in week 2.
First road start for the 18-year-old true freshman. Play fake. Pump, incomplete, almost picked. Blake Richmond.
It's interesting, Carter. I think that confidence and poise is the #1 trait for a quarterback, and it's a muscle. It's something that can get stronger. It's something that can go away. Josh Rosen not having the successes early on in this ball game on the road that he did a week ago. Let's see how this young man responds here on a third down after some adversity.
7 incompletions a week ago, already 6 tonight. 3rd and 10, Rosen, that's now as many incompletions in his second start as he had in that sparkling debut against Virginia.
I'm a believer that if a receiver touches the football, he should catch it, but the location of Josh Rosen's footballs tonight are off the target and off the mark. UNLV has a good opportunity here with good field position to get themselves back into this game.
Matt Mingle nearly blocked. Muff punts. UCLA is on top. Keith Whiteley, the junior running back in punt coverage. UNLV believes they have it.
Done good for 33 yards.
And a fight at the bottom of that pile after Whiteley muffs it. Second muffed punt tonight. One by UCLA, one by UNLV.
And the irony.
It is UNLV ball. Whiteley somehow got back on top of that one, or at least won something at the bottom of the pile.
And that happens a lot. I've been at the bottom of those piles, and there's a lot of business going on. You see Whiteley just muffs it, goes right through his hands. A lot of gold helmets down there from the football. So hard as a punt returner because you have to see the trajectory of the ball, take your eyes off of it to look at the coverage, back to the ball, back to the coverage. You see these guys fighting underneath the pile trying to get possession.
Fight night in Vegas.
Hugging. It's all Merriweather does anyway.
Decker hands off to Xavier Campbell. That's the true freshman from Houston's Bel Air High School. UNLV plays a couple of true freshman running backs from the Houston area. Xavier Campbell, that's just his second carry of the year. Kenny Young there on the stop.
The game plan early on for both of these offenses is run, run, play action, run, run, play action. UNLV has to stick with the run and try and establish something there because Devontae Boyd is a mismatch against most of the cornerbacks for this UCLA team.
Decker's going to keep it on 2nd and 8. Room to run. He has a first down as he dives across the 30-yard line. And Decker on the ground after taking a pop on that first down scramble.
It looks like he went down, Carter. Something just kind of gives out as he's running. He gets to the 2nd level. But it looked like something just gave out. It was a non-contact injury when he goes down. This would be a big blow to the Rebels if it's anything of a serious nature. Right there, bam, you see it. He just hits the deck.
Decker, the 2nd-year starter. Well, we've seen the backup, Kurt Palandak, play 1 series for UNLV. That was a 3-and-out. Decker, the 24-year-old, heads to the sideline, and that is going to be how the first quarter ends. A down note for UNLV after they trail 10-0 to 13th ranked UCLA with Blake Decker on the bench. End of 1, 10-0 UCLA.
Welcome back to Sam Boyd Stadium. UCLA is up by 10, and some questionable injury right now to quarterback Blake Decker. We saw as he was running the ball to end that first quarter over there. He went down as he was sliding. I saw him on the sideline. It looked like they were looking at that right knee. He just walked off the field. I'll update you guys as soon as I find out what's going on.
Thank you, Jenny. So that's Blake Decker, who's the almost 25-year-old senior leader quarterback, hobbling back into the UNLV locker room. So now it's Kurt Palandak, the sophomore who has played in the first 2 games for UNLV. 1 series already tonight, was a 3-and-out. Redshirted 1 year in North Dakota after 1 year at Laney College. Sophomore from Plainfield, Illinois, takes over 1st and 10. And Palandak, who is more of a running threat, dropped for a loss by Deion Hollins.
Deion Hollins is so athletic on that outside edge. You just got to be able to give that football. Hollins is so quick that he can play both the dive and react outside to the keep. I think they need to get back up inside and use Palandak's legs running some of that power football that they did with Decker when he went down.
With UCLA's defense, I mean, you lose Vanderdoes, who's a big-time leader, but there's no shortage of playmakers for the Bruins.
The defensive line is really one of the deepest positions on this team, and there's a ton of deep positions.
Palandak swings it to the outside for Xavier Campbell. There is a flag down. Kevin Marr, referee.
Holding. Offense number 70. 10-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
It's Alex Neal, the backup center, and that was a perfect example of UNLV. Here he is right here. Just gets beat right off the snap, drops his head. Gets a little too much jersey there. Typically the backup center, but they have him rotating in that offensive line at the left guard position. This is a pretty undersized UNLV offensive line. These guys play hard, but they're not as big as they will be someday.
Palandak scrambling, dropped again as UCLA turns up the pressure. Matt Dickerson and Kenny Clark drop Palandak.
And that's back-to-back plays on Alex Neal, the left guard, where he's just going to be able to get up here and get immediate pressure. The left guard's got to set firm and get his head back, but he gives a shoulder and whiffs right away. The quarterback doesn't have a chance. As an offensive lineman, you have to give your quarterback time and do a better job of stopping this stout defensive line of UCLA.
Tough task for the true freshman Alex Neal trying to block the Bruins. So 3rd and long. And another flag is down prior to 3rd and 22.
False start. Offense number 65. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
You start to see the mismatch of that defensive line maybe getting in the heads of this offense a little bit. You get some false starts, you get some holding penalties, and now UNLV, his offense is making progress, but in the wrong direction.
UNLV may be fortunate to avoid a safety or worse. Hallenbeck goes scrambling on 3rd and 27. Gets it back out to near the original line of scrimmage. It'll be 4th and 11. So Hallenbeck just trying to give a little bit of breathing room for Junker, the punter.
Yeah, that was a field position play right there, just to get some of that breathing room and get your defense back out onto the field. But UNLV right now is its own worst enemy. It's going to be hard enough to block UCLA and move the football down the field on them without shooting yourselves in the foot. They've got to clean up those mistakes if they want to win this game.
Junker hits it at the 17. Fuller shaking his way across the 40-yard line. UCLA football, 10-0 lead. Time to check in with Brent Stover on the top 10 matchup in East Lansing.
You got it. Byron Marshall, 15 yards from Vernon Adams to pull Oregon to within 3. They force a 3-and-out, get it right back. Just missed a wide-open touchdown, but they do have it around the 35 of Michigan State. Minute and a half to play.
Thank you, Brent. All right, so how much do you put into a Week 2 top 10 matchup as far as what it means for the playoff?
It's hard to judge any teams in Week 2, but certainly when you have two heavyweights like that, it's a good indicator of what those conferences may look like.
Perkins gets it out to the 48. Well, obviously the task for UCLA after the great debut, the number 13 ranking, but seen some teams let down and get into some tricky situations in Week 2.
Yeah, Arkansas actually lost. Notre Dame had a scare with Virginia. Auburn struggling. There's a lot of teams that had Week 1 wins that didn't get it together in Week 2 and paid the price. UCLA has to be careful that they're not one of them. It's always tough to go on the road, but you learn a lot about yourself in Week 2, especially when you're away from home.
Running it with Perkins, the junior from Queen Creek, Arizona, Chandler High School, who last year became the first Bruin since Deshaun Foster to lead the Pac-12 in rushing. It's the Pac-10 when Deshaun did it.
That's right.
Now it's the Pac-12.
Started out as the Pac-4.
Perkins brought down by Facauho, the senior defensive tackle for UNLV.
That was a great play by Facauho and something that this defensive line is going to need to do a better job of, and that's getting penetration, winning your one-on-one blocks. When the running back sees that helmet pop through, they get scared, and it usually results in a negative play.
Perkins takes it again on 3rd and 4, stretching close to the first down. He was down before the football came out. Apparently just shy of the first down. Penny Vea there on the stop. UCLA committing to the run. Well, they are going to move the chains and say first down. Yes, first down. There's the official signal. Chains moved. UCLA picks it up. They have run on all 5 plays of this series.
A week ago, they only had 28 rushing yards at halftime, but they're more committed to the run, which is what you should do on the road. And I've been really impressed with Perkins so far. He led the Pac-12 a year ago in rushing, and he's running physical here tonight.
Play fake. Rosen. Incomplete. Just overshooting Duarte.
That's the 4th overthrown deep ball. Rosen's been very accurate. The location has been pretty good on the short to intermediate throws, but the deep throws, once again, this is his 4th one where there was something there where we just see him just overthrow it, and he knows, oh, trying to use some English right there to get that ball just with a little bit more arc on it to drop in.
2nd and 10, Rosen to throw again. Complete on the outside, tough grab. That's Nate Iese, the junior. Jim Moore said this week, I don't even know what position he plays, but he's going to play in the NFL. Just a matchup problem. I mean, fullback, hybrid, whatever you want to call Nate Iese.
He's a tremendous athlete. He's 6'3", 250 pounds. He's a toy that the NFL will enjoy.
Chimabo takes it on 3rd and 1, and he is drilled for a loss to bring up 4th down. The free safety, Blake Richmond, pops Chimabo with some pressure from Sonny Toa. UCLA quickly going forward on 4th down. Rosenkeeper appears to be stopped short. UNLV football as the Rebel defense holds tough on 4th down.
See, Jim Moore is not happy about that. And I wouldn't be either if my big offensive line couldn't get me a yard, but you have to credit the UNLV defensive line for being able to get push. UNLV's defensive line showing up, stepping back up to the line. UCLA's testing them, but UNLV's rising to the occasion.
(10-0) UCLA on UNLV, and Tony Sanchez's home debut as head coach of the UNLV Rebels. Let's take a look at the Go RVing road trip facts. There wasn't much of a road trip. In fact, he didn't move. Bishop moved houses anyway. Bishop Gorman High School, where he won 6 straight Nevada State titles. The 5th coach to go straight from high school to the top division of college football. Jerry Faust, Notre Dame, the only one of those previous 4 who had a winning record. Palandeck, the quarterback for UNLV, hands it off. They're going to throw it back, and it is incomplete. That was Anthony Williams on the trick play, looking to throw it back to Palandeck.
UNLV has tried to run a couple trick plays early on in this game. They had the fake field goal that they ran. Now they're trying a quarterback throwback pass. The problem with those is if they don't work, it sets the tone for, hey, we can't beat these guys straight up, so you got to kind of pick your place where you do them. But if I'm UNLV, I'd be careful about trying to run too many more trick plays. You have Devontae Boyd, try and throw him the football. He's a mismatch against any team.
Palandeck's going to keep it on 2nd down, stretching across the 35. We check in with Jenny Dell.
I just spoke with Kyle Wilson. He's a head trainer for UNLV, and he told me that at this point, Blake Decker is dealing with a leg injury. They're going to reevaluate at the half, and then I'll have an update for you guys.
Thanks, Jenny. The big challenge now for UNLV, Kurt Palandeck has yet to complete a pass this year. 0 for 1 last week, 0 for 1 so far in this game. So you have a one-dimensional offense against UCLA, and you're down 10-0. Palandeck, there is his first completion on the shovel, and UCLA snuffs it out all the way back at the 31. Tuioti Mariner leads the way. Miles Jack in there on the stop as well.
There's so much sideline to sideline speed for this UCLA team. Watching them on film getting ready for this game, they're like a bunch of velociraptors. Ooh, there's just bodies everywhere. They hunt. They run to the football. When you're a defense and you run to the football, good things happen, and the Bruins are bringing it on that side of the football.
The velociraptor defense for UCLA.
Should I try and trademark that?
Westwood Velociraptors. Yunker punts again. Another good one. Fuller backing up. It'll hit inside the 10. Trickle out of bounds inside the 5. Inside the 1. Well, a bright spot for the UNLV Rebels. They're down 10-0. They're big underdogs, but a 65-yard punt. The UNLV Rebels a 0 on the board as the Bruin Velociraptor defense getting after it.
Yeah, but so is UNLV's defense. They had some big stops on 3rd down with some outside pressure, some good push up front. Kent Baer's unit on a big 4th down keeps Josh Rosen from getting the football. UNLV's defense is doing its job, and they have to be very happy that Kent Baer is getting things going. When you take a look, UCLA started out very, very quickly, but have stalled out. And the big reason why is that man on the left, Kent Baer, has his guys playing at a high level. If you're UCLA, you have to be careful here. You don't want UNLV to linger around, but you also have to make sure you get the ball out of the end zone.
from the 1. Rosen hands off to Perkins, out of the end zone, across the 5, across the 10 to the 15-yard line. Paul Perkins gets 14 yards before Mouton finally gets him.
Vision is the #1 attribute for a running back, and Paul Perkins uses his beautifully there to bounce it outside. Then he uses his burst and quickness to pick up the first down.
Breathing room for Rosen and the Bruins. Josh Rosen, play action, flings incomplete on a miscommunication. Massington was blocking on the edge rather than turning to catch it.
We talked about it at the top of the show, how good Rosen looked a week ago. You see Jim Mora frustrated, but this is what you get when you're on the road. It's one thing when you're home and it's the debut and everybody's fired up. It's another entirely when you're on the road playing against a team that's trying to change its identity. You can say what you want to about UNLV. These are some tough kids that play hard.
Already 9 incompletions after the almost perfect debut a week ago. He's 2 for his last 8. Nice grab there, however. Iese sheds the Rebel defender and shakes his way across the 35. McTire meets Nate Iese.
Well, this is one of those examples. UNLV brought some pressure off the edge, and Iese ran to the space that the blitzing defender vacated, and that's what allowed that big pickup in the first down.
Iese delivers the blow in the open field, and now give it right to Paul Perkins. McAleenan there on the stop.
Paul Perkins a week ago only had 59 yards, averaged 4 yards per carry. But running the football is about getting into a rhythm, and it's clear that they're going to feed 24 tonight, and rightly so, because he's a great back.
Feed him again on second down. Perkins shakes his way for a UCLA first down. Paul Perkins, whose dad, Bruce, played football at Arizona State and with the Tampa Bay Bucks. Uncle Don at New Mexico, and then was a running back on the first Dallas Cowboys team in 1960 when Dallas was granted an NFL franchise. Rosen complete. There were 2 receivers out there. Massington hauls it in to the 49.
Just 2 quick outs out on that right side. It's a little unclear, I think, who they were throwing the football to, but Rosen clearly knew. Puts the ball on the money. He's great with those short, quick outside routes. His ball location's pretty dang good tonight.
Massington, the sophomore from Mesquite, Texas. 2nd and 3. Rosen hands off again. Starks takes it for the UCLA first down. Nick Starks, the sophomore, who is from Las Vegas, Nevada.
You know he's feeling good to be at home and running hard, and that's really the thing I've noticed from UCLA's running backs tonight is they're running physically. They're running through tackles and dragging defenders for 2 or 3 yards.
Starks again across the 45.
Loses his helmet, so he's going to have to come off the field. It looks like we're going to see Olu run from me. The freshman, number 20, coming in to run the football. He's somebody that the coaches have really impressed. Averaged 6 yards a carry a week ago. Let's see what they do with him here on second down.
Freshman from Clovis, California. Play action. Rosen pressure, delivers. It's Iese again. Shedding a defender again. This time it's Blake Richmond, the free safety, who can't bring down Iese on first contact.
Iese is such a mismatch out there in the flats, whether it's a safety or any sort of defender. UCLA is attacking those vacated areas out there and forcing UNLV, even with pressure in their face, to tackle in the open field, and the undersized Rebels are struggling with it.
3rd and 1, high snap. Rosen hauls it in, takes the sack for a loss. It's Blake Richmond who sacks Rosen after the high snap from Brendel.
Another self-inflicted wound, if you will. Center quarterback exchange is paramount, but again, a high snap a little bit. It just throws the timing off the play, and UNLV gets another big stop on 3rd down.
Matt Mingles punts. Whiteley makes the grab, has a knee down inside the 15. 10-0 UCLA on UNLV on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, Brett Stover, Christian Fourier in New York with a full update, scores highlights, including that top 10 matchup in East Lansing that has gone final between Oregon and Michigan State. So we talked about some of the teams in week 2 that kind of slipped into some tricky situations.
I was surprised with Auburn. Jeremy Johnson didn't look good for the second week in a row. They're really missing the run game and Cameron Artis-Payne and what he brought to them a year ago. Notre Dame, the luck of the Irish is with them. They get the win, but they lose their starting quarterback. That team's going to have to grow up in a hurry. But Arkansas, a reason why they blanked out LSU and Ole Miss last year was because of a top 10 defense. Arkansas had the second-rated defense in the conference a year ago. They graduated a lot of guys, but they struggled on both sides of the football today. The SEC West is going to be interesting.
Palandek hands off to Whiteley for UNLV. Rebels have their backup as a little scuffle breaks out.
UNLV's a scrappy team, Carter, and here's what I think. When you're on the road and you're up 10, you're UCLA, you're going to try to get to halftime, you're going to get your butt chewed out and probably come out and play better in the second half. So UNLV really needs to get something going offensively here, even if it's a field goal, to try and get some momentum themselves so that they can feel like they can win this game. The defense is doing its job.
Palandek hands off again, first down UNLV. It's the backup quarterback, Kurt Palandek, who has only one completion so far this year, and that was on the shovel earlier to Thomas. He's playing because Blake Decker, the senior starter, went down with an injury at the end of the first quarter. No further word on Blake Decker's condition, but challenge for UNLV with Palandek, who's not a great thrower, at least hasn't shown it yet. Down 10-0. Palandek on the roll, pressured, heaves it, and it's intercepted by UCLA. An easy pick 6. Kenny Young takes it in. 23 yards on the return from Kenny Young. McKinley gets the pressure. Young takes it in for the pick 6.
Well, that's about the last thing that you would want if you're UNLV. He's just trying to get rid of the football, but he's not even looking forward down the field when he throws a football. He throws it into the waiting arms of Kenny Young. For another defensive player for UCLA scoring touchdowns, they seem to do that a lot on that team on both sides of the football.
Fairbairn on for the PAT. Good hold by Jerry Neuheisel. 17-0 UCLA. An example of when your quarterback should just tuck it and take the sack, because when he doesn't, you end up with that. Ugh. $17-0 UCLA with the Velociraptors on the attack.
Yeah, you're just going to have an overset here by the tackle, and that's going to be able to allow Eli Anku to be able to get inside of him. They're trying to reach protect this. You can't let anybody in that inside gap. This just simply is a ball that you cannot throw. You have to take the sack, Carter, as you said. But Palandek is a backup trying to make something happen with a costly error here at the end of the second quarter.
And that UCLA opportunistic defense. The UCLA defense scores touchdowns when they're on defense. They score touchdowns when those defenders play offense. And 10 defensive scores since 2012 in the Jim Mora era for the UCLA defense. Kenny Young, pick 6 with his first career INT. Touchback, UNLV gets it at the 25. Be sure to catch the new movie Black Mass from Warner Brothers Pictures, based on a true story of one of the most notorious gangsters in U.S. history, Whitey Bulger, starring Johnny Depp in theaters everywhere, September 18. That's one that I will not be missing.
They're going to get my $20. That's a challenge when you have backup quarterbacks. We were talking about what happened with Notre Dame, Malik Zaire going out for the year. When you don't have depth at that position, a lot of people think that it's a democracy where there's going to be equal reps for both your quarterbacks. It's just not the case. With the limited practice time, it's really hard to get the backups ready, which is why what Ohio State did last year was so impressive. But this young man, Palandek's going to have to grow up in a hurry. He's going to have to throw the football tonight to get them back in the game.
I think there's a difference between those Buckeye quarterbacks and what the Rebels have, but Palandek's going to give it his best shot. Xavier Campbell, the ball carrier. Now, this is Blake Decker, that 24-year-old senior who went down with the injury after the INT by Palandek, coming over there to try and encourage the younger backup.
Yeah, and he's going to have a short-term memory, and that's a sign of a good team. That's actually encouraging. But Palandek has 2 full quarters and another drive here on 2nd down, 2nd and 5. That's a favorable situation. At some point, they're going to have to throw the football to Devontae Boyd to take advantage of his height.
Palandek slant incomplete. Intended for Devontae Boyd, just a beat behind him.
That's really hard for a receiver to be able to stop and turn across his body. That timing and that ball location is so important. But to your point, Palandek is more of a running quarterback than a thrower, and being down 17-0 against UCLA is not the ideal situation for that. UCLA being able to get pressure without bringing a blitz. I would think about running possibly a screen here.
Just 1 for 7 on 3rd down. Palandek incomplete. That was almost picked again. Goforth had a chance at it. There is a flag down. Kevin Marr, our referee, sorting it out.
Offside. Defense number 30. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
It's going to be on Miles Jack. Penalties have been problematic at times for UCLA. Miles Jack had a couple horse collars a week ago. Very fast player. Hard to see from that angle what they saw. Might have been on Deion Hollins. He's so fast off the ball, you almost wonder if he's timing the snap. Because literally when the ball moves, 58 jumps. And they're going to still discuss this.
I don't think it was.
Reed Lip.
1st down, UNLV is the result. I'm still not sure whether UCLA offsides was. Didn't appear to be Miles Jack. 1st and 10 UNLV anyway. Palandek incomplete. Intended for Devontae Boyd again. Tight coverage on Boyd. Marcus Rios, the corner who's starting because of the indefinite suspension to Ishmael Adams. So it's 2nd and 10.
If you're a receiver in man coverage, the DB is going to try to mirror you. So as a receiver, you have to kind of fog that mirror and create separation. And you can do that with either physicality or with athleticism. And that time, Devontae Boyd didn't do either. And the poor location of the football resulted in incompletion.
Palandek's only completion was on a shovel toss. Now that looks more like an offsides. Agree? Let's see if he was drawn off.
I love it. And that's a very heads-up play by the center.
Offside. Defense number 58. Unabated to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
You have to be able to do that. He's trying to time the snap, and they just hard counted it there. But you see the center, as soon as he sees somebody enter the neutral zone, every center on every level snap the ball because it's a free play. That's a huge heads-up play, and that will slow down the rush of Deion Hollins. That's a great situation here for UNLV. Now they got to find a way to capitalize on it.
And they stop it there on the offsides because of the unabated. 2nd and 5 in the backfield again. The Bruins wrestling down the UNLV ball carrier. That's Eli Unku, the junior who is from Ontario, has been slowed in his career because of injuries, but playing more now.
Yeah, you see Anku right here. UNLV's offensive line is having trouble blocking people. He doesn't even get blocked that time. The tackle should have come down and cut him, or the offensive lineman somehow slow him down, but just to let him run unblocked isn't getting it done.
3rd and 7. Palandak, clean pocket, misfires again. And UNLV is really feeling the loss of Blake Decker, the starting quarterback who went down at the end of the first quarter. I mean, they're right in this football game. 10-0. You get the football, a chance to score, and you start thinking about some momentum towards an upset. But without a passing game right now for the Rebels, a lot of Logan Yunker on the punt. Yunker hits it right around the 27. Fuller will let it bounce. And the Rebels down it at the 23-yard line. Well, Tony Sanchez on the UNLV sideline. Josh Rosen quarterbacking UCLA. Last September, Coach Sanchez, Bishop Gorman taking on Josh Rosen and St. John Bosco here in Las Vegas. Rosen throws for 244 yards, 3 touchdowns, but Bishop Gorman wins it 34-31. Bishop Gorman, a national powerhouse, 6 Nevada State titles, but ranked #1. They produced a lot of players, so Jim Mora and everybody else very familiar with Tony Sanchez from recruiting his star players from Bishop Gorman.
All right, Carter, UCLA's got 3 timeouts in a minute and a half and a very explosive offense here. They're prone to taking deep shots, but on 2nd and 10, they've got to be able to move the ball. They like to run screens here as well.
Draw. Perkins. 3rd down coming.
That's a very conservative play call on 2nd down if you're going to try and score with the football here, but it doesn't look like UCLA has any sort of sense of urgency, so they may be okay with a 17-point lead here in the second half as they let the clock bleed down.
3rd and 6, Rosen to throw. Protection, pass is complete. Johnson makes the grab at the 39. UCLA uses a timeout.
I'm a little confused because on the one hand, they're trying to push the ball downfield, but on the other hand, they're walking to the line of scrimmage. They're letting time tick away, and there's no real sense of urgency.
So Josh Rosen, it hasn't been as perfect in the first road game as it was last week in the Rose Bowl against Virginia.
It's not always going to be, but you learn what type of football team you have and what type of players you have in your first road game. He hasn't played terribly tonight. He's actually played pretty good in terms of putting the football where he needs to be. His incompletions primarily have been on his downfield drive throws where he's taking shots over the top. But all the intermediate and short stuff, he's been pretty spot on so far.
Josh Rosen, the 18-year-old true freshman, last week completed passes to 11 different receivers, 144 yards, 1 touchdown. Rosen pressured, scrambling, throws it away. And that's one of those incompletions you talk about. Even when there are incompletions, that's a positive play or the right play by Josh Rosen.
Yeah, certainly that Palandak would have liked to have done that on the play where he turned the football over earlier. When you talk about Josh Rosen and how deep this roster is, he's targeted and completed balls to 8 different receivers today. He really scans and spreads the field and finds the open guys.
On 2nd and 10, dragging across, Jordan Payton shoved out of bounds at the 46-yard line. So 26 seconds, Fred Wilson there on the stop.
With 26 seconds at midfield, with the explosiveness on this offense, you don't have to worry too much about the clock, but at some point, you're thinking touchdown here. You have to take deeper throws. That was a scissors route, a short intermediate route that picks them up 6 or 7 yards, but it takes some valuable time off the clock. Look for them to throw towards the edges so that they can stop this clock without burning timeouts.
Rosen pressured, flags are down. Rosen heaves it incomplete. We'll check the flags.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Holding offense number 76. Offside. Defense number 25. Those fouls offset. Repeat, third down.
It's drawing the ire of defensive coordinator Kent Baer.
Well, those are just administrative penalties. I mean, there's no excuse for that. You're a defensive player. You look inside the neutral zone. You can't line up offsides.
So Rosen, 3rd and 3. That is incomplete.
Wow.
And that is clearly pass interference uncalled. McAleenan, the middle linebacker, leveling Mossy Johnson over the middle and no flag.
Man, I got to give the credit to the officials. They're letting these guys play and be physical. But, man, that clearly was pass interference, and as a flag, I think that should have been thrown.
I think I agree with you there, partner. Mingle's punt. Bounces inside the 15. Bruins will down it inside the 5 with all of 1 second on the clock before the half. 52-yard punt from Matt Mingle. You know, so for UNLV, I mean, they're hanging tough. They're 10-0, and then you go to your backup quarterback who's completed only 1 pass, and now it's 17-0, and this is looking more like the game that people expected from UCLA and UNLV heading into it.
Yeah, when Blake Decker went down, that was really tough for them. The defense has done a decent job. They're holding a pretty high-powered offense to only 17 points. You look at that interception return for UCLA was 23 yards. Palandek is -2 passing yards on the day. It's going to be awfully hard for UNLV to be able to close that gap. But he has some legs that they can take advantage of. But I think the plan here is just to kneel the football, go in at halftime and regroup, and try and figure out a strategy to allow Palandek to be successful throwing the football.
17-0 UCLA on UNLV at the half. The Bruins didn't score on their last 5 offensive actions. It was the defensive touchdown that made it 17-0. So UCLA has that touchdown from Rosen on the opening offensive drive. Offense doesn't get into the end zone for the rest of the first half. So even up 17-0, some corrections to make for Jim Mora and the UCLA Bruins at the half. Jenny is with UNLV head coach Tony Sanchez.
Coach, what can you tell us about Blake Decker's injury?
Upper hamstring, real high, so we'll see what happens right now. But Kurt went in, and he'll do a good job.
How confident are you in Palandek's ability right now?
Well, it's a good thing we played him last week. These things happen. So I'm confident in him. He made one really bad decision. Defensively, we played a great half. It should be a 10-point game. We made a real poor decision. We'll go in, we'll calm the guys down, we'll fix it, we'll come out and make some adjustments.
What's the main adjustment you need to make?
We got to move the ball on offense. Our defense, again, they're doing everything they can right now to keep us in the game. We have to find something that we can lay our hat, hang our hat on in the second half.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
Tony Sanchez and the Rebels down 17-0 to number 13 UCLA. That's the end of the first half. After the break, we'll send you back to our CBS Sports Network studio Verizon Halftime Report with Brent and Christian. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. As Graham Parsons said, ooh, Las Vegas. But for the Rebels, down 17-0 in their home debut to number 13 UCLA, Carter Blackburn, Aaron Taylor, Ginny Dell. All right, the question for UCLA was, could they avoid a week 2 letdown and join one of those teams that got a little trouble, a little scared this week? So how do you evaluate it at the half?
I think they're doing okay defensively. They've only allowed 1 touchdown, or they haven't allowed any touchdowns, but it's the offense and the misfires and the miscues, the bobbled snaps. Rosen doesn't look as sharp throwing the football down the field. They're just not executing on that side of the football. When your defense is playing good and you're on the road, just establish the run. Run Paul Perkins here in the second half. Get your win, go home. I think that they should commit to the run in the second half.
Well, there has been one offensive touchdown in the game. That's Aaron's analysis.
And this came off of the run, Carter. They ran the football early, so watch what the play action fake does here to the safety, creating a one-on-one situation with Jordan Payton here because of the vacated space. The other safety's in the middle of the field, but he's going to be too late getting over. Payton does a good move off the snap of the football and just runs the seam for a touchdown. But when you look at these numbers, although they've gotten a ton of yards, UCLA's only been 3 for 10 on 3rd and 4th down combined. That's not the sort of execution you want if you're a Bruin team looking to try and make the playoff.
On the east side of the Las Vegas area at Sam Boyd Stadium, it'll be UCLA receiving the second half kickoff. Ornan's kick fielded inside the 10 and out to the 30-yard line. Miles Jack near the 40. A linebacker and do everything player for the Bruins. Let's take a look at the pass chart for Josh Rosen.
Again, the short to intermediate passes, he's been pretty good. 15 of 22. Not a bad night throwing a touchdown there, but it's those deep balls. 0 for 4. A week ago, they took some deep shots and connected on a lot of those. They had 8 big plays over 20 yards. Tonight, not nearly as productive throwing the football downfield.
The true freshman quarterback hands off. Paul Perkins turns the corner, has a first down near midfield. We check with Ginny Dell.
You guys, I just talked to Coach Mora, and he said he feels the offense is just a little bit off, but coming off a great win, he expected that a bit. He says they're pressing right now, but he told them to relax. And as far as Rosen goes, he said he seemed completely unaffected, something that shows the maturity of this quarterback.
James Lawrence Mora, Father James Ernest, Jim Mora football coaches. Rosen, deep shot for Fuller, incomplete, with McTire step for step, and there's another deep ball incomplete.
That's 0 for 5 now, and he's lucky he got rid of that football when he did, because there was a corner blitz off the boundary that time off the backside that if he had held that ball a little bit longer, that would have been a huge shot that he didn't see coming. 2nd and 10, expect run.
Play action, swing it to the outside, complete across the 45-yard line. That's Mossy Johnson who makes the grab. Featured a lot more for UCLA tonight in the passing game, Mossy Johnson.
I'm not surprised to see UCLA attacking the edges outside on the perimeter. There's a ton more speed for the Bruins than the Rebels have on there, and when you hit those short swing passes, they effectively become the run game. So that's 2 places outside on the edges where they picked up yardage.
On 3rd and 1, Rosen, keeper, scrambling for a first down as he's tripped up by Penny Vea.
That's a rare keep for the big quarterback. I wouldn't consider him the most mobile guy, but what I love about it is he drops his shoulder, throws a little elbow, and picks up the first down. Great toughness for the freshman.
Rosen flings complete. That's Jordan Payton who makes the catch.
Yeah, you see him rolling that shoulder out a little bit. He's not used to getting hit. They didn't give up any sacks a week ago. That was a rare run for him. You got to keep an eye on that.
High snap, give it to Perkins on 2nd down. It'll bring up 3rd down and about 4 after the stop by Matt Lee, the sophomore from Fresno.
The only question about this UCLA team coming into this season was at the quarterback position, and how are they going to replace Brett Hundley? Well, I tell you what, Josh Rosen seems to have the skill set to lead to a bright future for UCLA at the quarterback position.
On 3rd and 4, Rosen setting up the screen to Perkins. Blockers ahead. First down inside the 20 for Paul Perkins. Finally brought down by Fred Wilson.
UCLA likes to utilize the screen game a lot. The offensive line just lets those guys set up. He's got a couple blockers out front of him. Paul Perkins is such a good open field runner. I'm not surprised that they're featuring him here early on in the second half.
This is just the 2nd trip to the red zone for UCLA. Rosen pressured. Gonna roll out of the pocket. and just dumps it incomplete, throws it away. So the second trip to the red zone for UCLA tonight, and our red zone is brought to you by Verizon. That was on the second possession of the game for UCLA, the 35-yard field goal from Fairbairn. Remember, there's only one offensive touchdown in the game. The other was on a pick six. So just the second red zone trip for UCLA. This will be the 9th play of the drive.
Great coverage that last time by the Rebels. Rosen had nowhere to throw the football, so he had to break the pocket and end up throwing it away.
Rosen, pressure coming, releases to Perkins, slips his way inside the 10. Perkins to the 7, 1st and goal, UCLA.
A week ago, missed tackles were big for UNLV, and it shows up again here tonight. This time it's going to be the corner, Torrey McTire, who misses the tackle. There's been several on this drive that have allowed the Bruins to move the football forward.
1st and goal, Perkins. Walks into the end zone, touchdown UCLA. Paul Perkins takes it in to get the scoring started in the second half for the 13th ranked Bruins.
This power football, Caleb Benenoch right here is going to pull around and seal that outside edge. And the rest is going to be Paul Perkins' legs. When you get that outside, the running back there runs underneath, or excuse me, the linebacker. Somebody has to have contained in that defense. UCLA was able to envelop them for the easy walk-in and the score for the Bruins.
Fairbairn's PAT, so UCLA in its second trip to the red zone. Into the end zone, Paul Perkins, the Pac-12's leading rusher from a year ago. Slowed in the first game against UVA, but Perkins and the Bruins ground game muscling into the end zone.
Welcome back to Vegas, where UCLA has a 24-0 lead. Look at the vision here of Paul Perkins. This was a week ago. Vision is the #1 asset for a running back, but tonight he's done it again. He does a really good job of getting the football in the open field and then putting that foot in the ground and cutting back across the grain. Paul Perkins is his own blocker in a lot of ways because he makes people miss at the point of attack, and when they do tackle him, he runs behind his pads and drags the pile for 2 or 3 extra yards.
Why do you think vision's the #1 attribute for a running back?
Because eyes lead the feet. All things else being equal, good backs see where the yards are when they don't have the ability to have blockers in front of them. The great backs of all time are the ones that find the lanes that the other ones can't see.
Carter Blackburn, Aaron Taylor, Ginny Dell. It was 10-0 UNLV. They were hanging tough. Then a critical injury to the UNLV quarterback, Blake Decker. So now the backup, Kurt Palandek. And you see, I mean, there's not a whole lot there for UNLV offensively, but at least they were right there in the game with a chance for much of that first half.
They only have one drive over 20 yards in this ball game, and it came on the arm of their quarterback, Blake Decker, who's no longer playing. And that was getting Devontae Boyd involved. I would run some quarterback power and use the legs of Palandek here.
Palandek hands off to Keith Whiteley, the junior running back. We heard Tony Sanchez, UNLV head coach, tell Ginny at the half, you know, hope to have Blake Decker back. He's still dressed. He's still on the sideline. He went down with what Tony Sanchez said was a hamstring injury at the end of the first quarter. But that's the starter. There's more of the thrower, if you will. Palandek has been used by UNLV through the first week plus as a change of pace running quarterback. Now it's Palandek.
Decker has the ability to have some mobility, but against a defense as athletic as UCLA, you don't want to make him a sitting duck back there.
Play action. Palandek fumbles the football. Appears to be recovered by UCLA. Kenny Clark was the first player to the football. Dion Hollins knocked it away. So Hollins, who had the pick six. UCLA football. Hollins has created both of the takeaways by the UCLA defense. Kenny Clark recovers it.
Well, when you can come off the football as fast as Hollins does, he sits there and plays. That's that athleticism that we talked about. He did not play the dive that time. He was on the quarterback. And Palandek just makes a bad play, loses the football. He's got to be able to protect that thing. He's hurt his team twice now because his inability to protect the football.
Hollins had the INT, the first of his career, returned for a touchdown. And then Palandek fumbles, covered by Hollins. Wow. Starks showing off. Lowering the pads, the Las Vegas native delivering blows.
Take a listen. And that was Penny Vea, the leading tackler on there, and a captain of this UNLV team that just got ran over.
Important correction. That pick six was Kenny Young. Deion Hollins gets the takeaway, or creates that second takeaway.
Holding. Offense number 51. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
But bottom line, that's two takeaways by the UCLA defenders. The pick six from Young, and then Deion Hollins forces the fumble recovered by Clark. We talked about how for the Bruin defense without Eddie Vanderdoes, but there's still a lot of playmakers out there. Now they're going to face much more challenging offenses than the UNLV Rebels, but still there's a lot of playmakers left on the field for UCLA.
Remember, a couple years ago, they were playing a bunch of true freshmen, true sophomores. They're an extremely experienced team, but they're still young.
Only 9 scholarship seniors. The freshman QB Rosen hit as he delivers, and it's intercepted. The first interception thrown by Josh Rosen. Blake Richmond gets the interception after the pressure was put on the freshman QB. His first pick as a UCLA Bruin.
That was just pressure off the outside left edge. Remember, we talked about it coming from the boundary earlier. Keep an eye on the left side of the screen. Just see the cornerback there, Torrey McTire, getting there, and Rosen's not able to deliver the football with full velocity, and it's into the waiting arms of Blake Richmond. The first turnover for the young man. Going to be interesting to watch to see how he responds. Coaches praise him for being unflappable. Let's see how he shows back up. But that's a great play by UNLV's defense, once again giving their team a chance to get the football back and make something happen.
Palandek takes over at the 2. Handing off out of the end zone. That's Nelfahu, the fullback. Senior from San Mateo. Give maybe 3, and some more pushing, shoving between the Rebels and the Bruins. So there's Josh Rosen on the sideline after the first interception thrown of his UCLA career.
And that wasn't really on Josh Rosen. That was a protection thing. The corner came free. He had no idea he was there. That's just a gotcha.
Palandek handing off again. Nelfahu again, and here comes a flag at the end of the play. The officials try and step in and stymie the bad blood.
Getting chippy down there. I like it out of UNLV. You got to be careful and be smart. But Coach Sanchez told us he was going to draw a line in the sand. If they push you off that line, get back on it, and that's what they're doing.
Face mask. I believe it was against Miles Jack, and now Miles Jack's over on the sideline getting a coaching point or 2 from Jim Mora. It is a face mask, personal foul. First down, Palandek fumbles it again, and then falls on it at the 25.
Now the snap was a little high and to his right. But with a young quarterback, a lot of times they take their eye off the football because they're trying to make some last-minute reads for the defense. That's just a poor exchange there on the zone read. He was going to keep that and take it back up inside. But again, miscommunication, probably attributable to the fact that he hasn't just taken a lot of reps under center with this first-team offense. still no excuse, so you have to protect the football.
Palandek pressured out of the pocket. Scrambles back to the line of scrimmage and gets maybe a couple. Flag down.
Deion Hollins.
Holding. Offense number 63. 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
Jondre Sanders. He's got his hands full. Keep your eye right here. That get off. He drops his head and he feels that he gives a corner, so he just grabs him and turns him. Probably saved a big hit there by Palandek, but it was the poor technique in the set. As an offensive lineman, you can never bend at your waist and extend and drop your head, or you see what happens as the result.
Palandek pressured again. Out of the pocket. Palandek scrambles back to the original line of scrimmage. Make it third down, maybe 3rd and 11. Marcus Rios finally brings down Palandek.
When you have a team that's pressuring you, one of the antidotes is screens, draws, and delays. Get the defensive line upfield to take advantage of the natural run lanes. That's exactly what happens here. The offensive line initiates contact and maintains their block and pick up a huge chunk of that yardage that they just lost.
3rd and long. UNLV has only one conversion on 3rd down tonight. Palandek delivers, and an absolute crushing blow delivered on Kendall Keys by Miles Jack. Woo! Penalty earlier, back in the game, presence felt.
He's one of the surest tacklers in the country, and a reason why NFL scouts, even though he's a junior and they're not supposed to watch tape on him, really like this kid because he closes on the football with such velocity. He was out on the hash and got there almost as soon as the football did.
Jacked up.
Oh, man.
Yonker, another solid punt. Fuller, fair catch. Miles Jack and the Bruins, 24-0.
College football on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich. By Verizon. Verizon. Watch live, local, and primetime games on NFL Mobile. Included only on Verizon. And by Icy Hot Smart Relief TENS Therapy. Turn off pain.
Speaking of lighting up Las Vegas, UCLA linebacker and everything else, Miles Jack showing up. One of your top linebackers.
Well, I think the top linebacker in the country is Jalen Smith from Notre Dame. He's a do-everything guy. He can shock and shed at the point of attack against the run. Miles Jack is a great open field tackler. And then Leonard Floyd of Georgia still needs to get a little bit bigger, but he's somebody that can come off the edge that the NFL scouts will like.
Josh Rosen hands off to Perkins. Let's go back to that huge hit from Miles Jack. The risk of getting too cheesy here. What about jumping Jack crash?
No, you risked it. And you were too cheesy, yeah. You did it.
Stilton.
English blue.
Rosen zips it incomplete rather. Too low for Jordan Payton, so 3rd down already for Josh Rosen in the UCLA offense.
I want to give credit to this UNLV Rebel defense. They've been playing man coverage for most of the night and doing a really good job, a lot better job than they did a week ago in their game against Northern Illinois. There's some talented receivers there. They've done a good job one-on-one marrying them and making it very hard for Rosen to find open receivers.
3rd and 5, Rosen flings it right to the stick, complete. Mossy Johnson. And it is complete to Mossy Johnson, so forward progress gives him the 1st down. Flags are down.
I don't think that they were set.
That is false start, obviously, against UCLA. 5-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
Called it on Moalo. UCLA likes to be able to use tempo to stress the defense and put pressure on them. They're having to start out here behind the chains, 1st and 15.
Rosen will hand off. Huge hole for Perkins. The hole is so big he takes it untouched into the end zone. Second rushing touchdown of the night for Paul Perkins. And the route is on.
Well, we talked about it at the top of the second half, that they needed to feature Paul Perkins and run the football, control the line of scrimmage, and that's exactly what they do. She takes that little stutter step, very well blocked up front by that offensive line. The backers get caught up in the trash. The safeties come down. He splits the safeties and runs unabated for a huge touchdown here in the 3rd quarter.
Perkins takes that one 56 yards. So after a slow start, only 59 yards a week ago, Perkins tonight 18 carries, 151 yards. One short touchdown and one long one, all UCLA.
Welcome back to Las Vegas, where UCLA has a 31-0 lead on UNLV. Just some great blocking at the point of attack by UCLA's offensive line on a simple zone read, but it's blocked exceptionally well. Look at that hole that Paul Perkins has to be able to run through. That is domination at the line of scrimmage. And then it's all number 24 dropping down into low gear and hitting the afterburners and hitting his head on the goalpost for the 56-yard touchdown.
Literally untouched on a 56-yard touchdown run. Second of the game for Paul Perkins, who is back in his groove, the Pac-12's leading rusher from a great family of running backs. The Bruin fans getting into Sweet Caroline. What's not to enjoy? Weekend in Vegas, and the Bruins, after sputtering just a bit early, allowing UNLV to hang around a bit early. Now it's 31-0 UCLA midway through the 3rd. So good. There's a 15-yard penalty against UNLV that brought that kickoff out of the 50, so an easy touchback. Well, in the fraternity of UCLA quarterbacks, remember Troy Aikman, who transferred from Oklahoma when Jamel Holloway beat him out at OU, then came to UCLA. 20-4 overall, Pac-10 Offensive Player of the Year as a junior, Davey O'Brien Award winner as a senior, College Football Hall of Fame, and then, of course, 3-time Super Bowl champion with the Cowboys, home of Super Bowl 50. CBS Sports this February. And there's a Troy Aikman jersey in the stands. Nice piece in the LA Times this week about how Josh Rosen was impressing those members of the UCLA quarterback fraternity after 1 week. Guys like Troy Aikman, Rick Neuheisel, David Norrie, Brett Hundley. That impressive debut for Rosen.
Well, he's going to have some things to work on this game. But again, his skill set and the nuances and his understanding of the position is usually something that you don't see until guys are juniors or seniors.
Kurt Palandak hands off to Lexington Thomas. It'll be 3rd and short for the Rebels as the Bruins rally to the football. Mention our colleague Rick Neuheisel, the last head coach at UCLA, and his son Jerry Neuheisel. I anticipate we'll probably see Jerry Neuheisel at some point in this second half, quarterback for the Bruins.
I would anticipate the same thing. He's chomping at the bit. He's a competitive guy, a lot like his father. Remember what he did against Texas a year ago.
In relief of Hundley.
Yeah, he's a good player that you never know what's going to happen. We saw some big quarterbacks go down today, most notably for Notre Dame. Jerry Neuheisel's done a good job batting relief for this team and showing up when they needed him most. There's something to be said about a guy that you can trust in the crunch to step up and get a win for your team. And that's exactly what that young man did a year ago, and it's what he'll do again if he's called upon this season.
UNLV picks up the first down with Naufahu, the fullback, stretching across the 35. Palandek on the keeper. It's going to be a big question for UNLV. There's still a lot of time to go in this game, but the question about Blake Decker, the senior who was injured, Tony Sanchez told Jenny it was a hamstring injury at the end of the first quarter. So if and when Blake Decker back on the field for UNLV, that's going to go a long way in determining how much the Rebels can improve in 2015.
And the good news is you can recover relatively quickly from a hamstring in most cases.
Big pop by Keith Whiteley as the Bruin helmet comes flying off. Fabian Moreau there on the stop, and he does some talking to Whiteley.
I love that UCLA feels the need to be able to talk some junk, but I also love that UNLV's not backing down at all. I think already we're seeing the effect of Tony Sanchez on this team. These dudes are playing with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder.
3rd and 5 coming up here for Tony Sanchez. This is his home debut as head coach of the Rebels. 6 straight state titles with Bishop Gorman High School. Slant incomplete, almost picked off by Goforth.
UNLV got lucky there in UCLA. That ball showed up so quickly. Just kind of stares down his receiver. Good coverage that time. But Randall Goforth just can't come down with the football. But I think the limited passing game of UNLV is pretty well defined, and probably pretty good reason why Palandek is used as the running option. My guess is moving forward, if he's going to be the guy going, they're going to have to work on his ability to be able to throw the football, because UNLV is really limited right now.
Logan Younger rolling out, it's blocked by UCLA. It'll trickle out of bounds at the 9. So the Bruins will take over. McKinley gets his hands on it for a block on the rollout punt by Younger. Takaris McKinley.
Tack McKinley had 2 pass breakups a week ago, but he's one of those predators, those velociraptors, those athletic defensive linemen. He just closes on the football. Younger just waited too long with that rugby-style kick, and I don't think he expected, clearly, Tack McKinley to show up that quickly. And special teams been a real huge part of the Jim Mora era, and that's another fine example.
Rosen will hand off. This is Jamabo, the true freshman from Plano, Texas West High School, Plano West. Got more carries in week 1, but the highly regarded, one of the top running back recruits, is a police chase on the night of his high school prom jeopardized his career, but he's trying to move on from that now, and huge potential for the Bruins.
Rosen split out here to the wide right. Here's Rosen up here.
So it'll be a direct snap to Jamabo. He's going to take it himself on 2nd and goal. Gets to the 2 on a new wrinkle in the red zone from the Bruins.
UCLA's starting to think about stuff to put on film to make teams start to defend as they move through the season. Those are nice wrinkles to be able to do it, create some mismatches from a number standpoint inside the box. If you've got additional people in the box that are running threats, it adds an extra gap and eliminates a defender, if you will, on the defensive side of the football.
3rd and goal from the 2. Rosen out of the shotgun, hands up Jamabo. Flag down. Jamabo is stopped at the 1. Mark Finau leads the UNLV gang of defenders, and we'll check the flag.
Good chop block.
Kevin Marr. There's a personal foul. Chop block on UCLA.
3rd down.
The combination high-low block on the engaged defender.
It happens a lot down there when you're doing those combination blocks. Usually when you're going to cut a defensive lineman, you do it by yourself. But sometimes in tight quarters, you do it inadvertently. But that was a huge penalty for the Bruins, who were inside the 5-yard line. looking good, but now they're in a third and extremely long. You get to see an opportunity of maybe Josh Rosen's ability to throw a fade pattern.
Rosen off play action. Rolling. Now he's going to bring it back. Incomplete. Rosen comes back to get rid of it. Had a shot in the end zone. Mossy Johnson couldn't hang on. Sonny Sunatoa brings the pressure on Rosen.
You see Rosen, he's scanning the field, staying very calm. Sets up, stops his feet, fires it backside. One of the UNLV defenders almost gets a hand on it. But you got to be careful, Josh Rosen. You're getting better competition against better defenses. That could have been an interception. Sometimes you see younger quarterbacks that have too much confidence in their arm strength make mistakes. That's going to be one that he's going to definitely take a look at.
35-yarder from Fairbairn is good. 34-0 UCLA. You know all about Josh Rosen, the quarterback, but what about his other sport?
Welcome back to Sam Boyd Stadium. UCLA up 34-zip. Now, I'm all for a good nickname. How about the Rosen one? That is what they are calling Josh Rosen. And many people are saying that his drive comes from his upbringing. He is the middle son of two Ivy League educated parents. As we take a look at our Icy Hot player profile, Rosen clearly excelling in academics and football, but well-rounded. Look at that. At age 12, he was ranked in the top 50 in the U.S. in his age group in tennis. Guys, Coach Mara believes Rosen's success in tennis transfers over to playing football, saying you have to be able to move from moment to moment and keep your wits about you.
Thank you, Jenny. Our excellent book by our colleague Bruce Feldman, The QB, talked about how Josh Rosen, when some of those things translated from tennis over to football, but said he just kind of got to that point after all the competitive tennis was burned out. And so said, I think football is going to be fun. And here he is as an 18-year-old true freshman starting quarterback and one of the emerging stars in college football in 2015. He told you about his parents, Charles and Elizabeth, both Ivy League educated from prominent families, and they were also both competitive ice dancers. So competition through many different sports runs through the Rosen family. On the return, Lexington Thomas to near the 17-yard line. There is a flag down.
Ice dancing is a sport?
Yes.
During the return, holding, receiving team number 25. Penalty will be half the distance to the goal. First down.
Like to see you try it.
Well, last year we went to Bryant Park in New York City in the winter, and let's just say that ice skating was quite a bit easier when I was 8 years old.
Oh, man. Well, Josh Rosen, more on Josh Rosen's parents, but Charles is his father is not only one of the leading spinal surgeons in the U.S., champion of ethics reform in medicine, been mentioned as a possible surgeon general. That's Josh Rosen's father, Dr. Charles Rosen. And the Rosen family lives not far from the Mora family in Manhattan Beach, California, and Los Angeles area. Kids are friends, so Jim Mora, when you talk about recruiting and this all-everything quarterback, I mean, he said it was an interesting recruitment process because he had known Josh growing up throughout his teenage years, and Jim Mora says, hey, I think there's some misunderstanding because Josh is self-described, says sometimes I'm too confident for my own good. And that was kind of one of the raps that he got in recruiting and 7-on-7, and he was kind of a cocky guy. Jim Mora telling us, that's not the Josh Rosen that I know. He thinks he is a mature young man who studies Andrew Luck, among other quarterbacks, as kind of a role model for him.
It's a pretty good role model to study. Andrew Luck, somebody that will likely be as successful when he's done playing football as he has been already in his young career in the NFL. The kid comes from a successful family. He's cut from good cloth. He's clearly learned some things from the way he was brought up that have translated to the success that he's had in football.
Xavier Campbell breaks it for UNLV to midfield. That's the freshman running back from Bel Air High School in Houston, picking up 30 yards.
And this is now the second string defense for UCLA. They feel pretty confident with a 34-0 lead. Just a great block that time by the offensive line of reaching the defensive lineman and creating gaps. That was something that they hadn't been able to do all night with the starters in there. But that's going to end the quarter. That's a good play to get on tape for this Rebel team trying to run the football.
Positive note for UNLV going to the fourth, but they trail 34-0. Let's check in with our Chick-fil-A fan cam here at Sam Boyd Stadium. The first meeting between the Bruins and the Rebels. A lot of UCLA fans making the trip over to Las Vegas. Why not? You get a weekend in Vegas, hang out at the pool, and then when the sun goes down and the temperatures slip into the mid-90s, check out a football game and watch the Bruins. And as we go to the fourth, it is UCLA 34-0 on the UNLV Rebels. Carter Blackburn, Aaron Taylor, Jenny Dell. Big run for UNLV on the last play of the third quarter. So at midfield for Kurt Palandek, the sophomore from Plainfield, Illinois, quarterbacking UNLV. Lexington Thomas has dropped for a loss. I'll mention the good crowd here with a lot of UCLA fans in attendance. Over 31,000 here at Sam Boyd Stadium. That's the largest crowd since 2008. So it's the UNLV home opener. Tony Sanchez, who has a lot of support from Las Vegas after his terrific career at Bishop Gorman High School. So both UNLV fans and UCLA fans turning out. Palandek, play fake, fling it to the outside for Aaron Criswell. And he is dropped immediately.
It's Denzel Fisher, redshirt freshman out of Los Angeles. Just planting and driving as a cornerback. When you see that ball get thrown, you got to put your feet in the ground and close on it. Fisher that time did an excellent job. He didn't gather his feet and take some choppy steps. Just planted his foot, drove on the football, and came up with a nice tackle.
One passing yard for Kurt Palandek on the night. That one is incomplete. Intended for Anthony Williams. Brown knocks it away. That's Jayon Brown. And the frustrating night for Kurt Palandek and the UNLV offense continues.
Wonder if we're going to see a Jerry Neuheisel sighting, Carter.
Yunker hits it at the 40. Into the end zone. 34-0 UCLA. Who is going to be the Bruin quarterback in the fourth? Number 13 UCLA has a 34-0 lead on UNLV. Let's take a look at the AP poll, brought to you by the Chrysler 200, top 10 in the AP poll.
Pretty easy sledding for the most part. Notre Dame had a nail-biter, losing their quarterback Malik Zaire for the rest of the year, but they do get the win. But I tell you what, man, that Oregon-Michigan State game, that was a tough slugfest back and forth. But Michigan State, I think, is the team to keep your eye on. I think that it could come down, obviously, to them in Ohio State. I personally have the Spartans winning that ball game because I don't know if the sword of Ohio State's going to be sharp enough by the time they play, because they're not going to get tested at all until they face the Spartans.
Josh Rosen still in at quarterback for now for the UCLA Bruins. Handing off on first down, Ola Runfumi, the true freshman from Clovis, California, across the 35. I don't think that they're quite going to be in the top 10 yet, Aaron, but I did one note in college football today. The first place team in the ACC's Atlantic Division, first place.
The Orange, baby.
That's right, the Syracuse Orange with A 2-0 record and an opening ACC win over Wake Forest.
Enjoy it while you can, my friend.
Rosen pumps. Deep shot. Incomplete. That was a heck of a throw by Rosen, intended for Kenny Walker.
And Kenny Walker gave up on that ball. That was bad. That was a beautifully thrown ball, but it was almost like he heard footsteps and gave up on the pass. He stops.
I agree, that's a head scratcher, because Rosen threw a beautiful ball.
He's going to hear about that in the meetings, I'll tell you what. Wow.
Polo run for me, takes a big pop as he gets to the 40.
I think he gave the pop on that one. Kenny Keys got hit in the chest.
Yeah, Kenny Keys, the safety.
Lower your strike zone, Kenny.
You're right. Low man wins, right?
Hammer and nail. Football's a game of leverage.
3rd and 5 for Rosen and the Bruins. Josh Rosen pumps over the middle. That is caught for a first down for UCLA. That's Darren Andrews who makes the grab.
Keep your eye on Josh Rosen. He's going to scan the field. He wants to go left with the check down, but he comes back all the way backside to his 3rd read. Just showing again his tremendous ability to be able to scan the field. Finds Andrews late for the big pickup.
High snap, swing it incomplete. That is an incomplete pass. Close to a lateral, but just ahead. Intended again for Darren Andrews.
Typically, you see younger receivers, Carter, lock on to their primary reads. It's rare to see them go through progressions like we saw Rosen do on that last ball. He's got a pretty firm grasp of this offense already through 2 weeks. And I noticed some similarities with that high school film we showed earlier and the similar route concepts of what he's running here at UCLA, so he probably picked it up pretty quick.
Polo run for me, takes it again, trips as he gets across the 35. It'll be 3rd down again.
UCLA having a lot of success running that play off tackle there. Their guards are doing a good job of blocking the defensive linemen that are over them and doing well enough to work up on combination blocks to be able to get the linebackers to keep them from scraping, getting huge gains typically when they run that play.
3rd and 6, Rosen chase, dumps it. Ola run from me, makes the grab and picks up the first down, delivering a couple more blows as he takes it inside the 30.
That time, Matt Lee comes on the blitz from that linebacker position. A lot of times you think about quarterbacks and mobility being the Russell Wilson type quarterback, but Rosen showed great mobility to extend the play inside the pocket and deliver a first down.
Jamabo takes it there. You know, after that week 1 performance by Josh Rosen, a lot of people were saying this guy, even as an 18-year-old true freshman, could be a Heisman contender. Well, give Miles Jack credit. This was before the season began, telling Sports Illustrated's Inside Read, don't be surprised if Josh wins the Heisman. I believe in Josh. Josh is going to be great. Nobody needs to worry about Josh. That was before the dazzling opening performance from Josh Rosen. And that one's incomplete as Andrews takes the big pop. That was Miles Jack really going to bat for his teammate before the season even kicked off.
That's high praise for one of the leaders on this team on the other side of the football about a true freshman quarterback. But remember, Miles Jack sees him in practice every day and probably has felt the wrath of his good decision-making, strong arm, and accuracy. And I think the UCLA team was well aware of the potential of Josh Rosen from the get-go.
223 passing yards tonight. Rosen bidding for his 2nd touchdown. It's incomplete. Yese, the intended receiver in the end zone. Jack and Rosen, you can make an argument if you're the Heisman Trophy is supposed to go to the most outstanding player in college football. Miles Jack and Josh Rosen are 2 of the most outstanding players in college football. Remember Miles Jack's incredible freshman year as a running back and linebacker a couple years ago. A huge recruit out of Washington State. Fairbairn on for the 43-yarder. Another good hold. Fairbairn boots it through to make it 37-0 UCLA on UNLV. The 13th ranked Bruins cruising in Vegas. Thursday night football is back, and it kicks off on Thursday, CBS and NFL Network. Peyton Manning and the Broncos against the Chiefs, both looking for primetime magic. Football starts here Thursday nights on CBS and NFL Network. CBS Sports, the home of Super Bowl 50. Current Pac-12 teams, Alex Smith, they were in the Mountain West Conference when he was there, but Utah's now in the Pac-12. And how about Carson Palmer, still a starting quarterback in the National Football League? Pretty amazing.
He's had some lasting power in the NFL. Much longer than a lot of people gave him credit for, but that's a testament to who he is and how he works and how he shows up.
$37-0 Bruins on the Rebels, and UCLA's first trip to Sam Boyd Stadium. First meeting on the football field between UNLV and UCLA. Ooh, what a hit. Lexington Thomas is absolutely drilled.
Thomas hesitated.
Roosevelt Davis.
Before he came out of the end zone there, he thought twice about it. He's thinking about it. Okay. Waited too long.
Wow. Might reconsider the next time.
Take a knee, partner.
Wow.
Instead of 1st and 10 at the 25, it's 1st and 10 at the 8 or the 9.
Roosevelt Davis, who is from Lancaster, California. Whiteley on the carry. A 0 on the scoreboard for UNLV right now. The last time they were shut out at home, you have to go back to 2003 in a 7-0 game versus San Diego State. That was when John Robinson was the head coach of UNLV. They've only been shut out twice since then. Both were on the road. So trying to avoid the first home shutout since '03. Whiteley has room across the 30 as the UCLA defenders run into themselves. Whiteley takes it across midfield to boost the Rebels' efforts to get points on the board.
There's just going to be a weak side zone where he's going to take the football, do a nice little hop there, cut against the grain, some poor angles, some keystone cops with UCLA guys bumping into each other. But look at this nice open field running. Safeties running across, taking poor angles, and Whiteley does the rest. Now remember, this is UCLA's second string defense, but the coaches don't care who's out there. They got to play it better than that.
41-yard gain. Now it's Xavier Campbell at running back across the 45. So it's UNLV's 1s right now against UCLA's 2s, including quarterback where Palandex had to go the stretch tonight because of the injury to Blake Decker.
And they're moving the football largely without the ability to be able to throw it. And again, I can't say this enough. I know the scoreboard doesn't reflect it, but UNLV's played hard and they haven't given up at all. Their effort has been there from start to finish tonight.
Pushing the pile near the 40 to make it 3rd down. Well, the scoreboard says 37-0 UCLA on UNLV. The Rebels are going to go to 0-2. It's a disappointing home debut. But talked about Tony Sanchez. The #1 thing he wanted to see was get up and fight, get up and fight, get up and fight. And how do you think the Rebels have done with that tonight?
I thought they've done an excellent job of it. They've been chippy. What he said is we're going to draw a line in the sand and tell the guys to stand on that line. If you get knocked off, step back up to that line. But no matter what happens, keep fighting. Give it everything you had. And these guys are outmatched. You saw UCLA get off the bus. You knew what the likely result was going to be. When I watched tape, it was clear UCLA was a much more talented team than UNLV, but I've been really impressed with the fight and the heart of the Rebels tonight.
This is 4th down coming up, and the offense stays on the field with Palandek at QB. So 4th and 2 on one of the Rebels' best drives of the night.
Rare snap under center.
Palandek will hand off. That's Noel Fahu, who is stopped short. And UCLA, the backups give up the big run to Whiteley, but get the 4th down stop. So the UCLA defense continues its bid for a shutout. 4th and 2, the Bruins holding their side of the line.
Brent Stover in New York. BYU with a Hail Mary to beat Nebraska last week. Now this week on a 4th and 7 under a minute to play, Tanner Mangum throws it up and Mitchell Juergens the catch. They added a pick 6. Carter, Aaron, and Jenny. BYU stuns Boise State 35-24.
That will knock Boise State from the ranks of the ranked. They were the only non-Power 5 in the top 25. And tough week for the Mountain West against some difficult opponents, against the ranked opponents.
21 unanswered 4th quarter points by BYU, one of which was a pick 6.
Jerry Neuheisel in at quarterback for UCLA. Handing off, and it's Orunfemi reversing field for a gain of 9 on 1st down. Jerry Neuheisel, the junior from Los Angeles, Loyola High School. Of course, probably know about his dad, Rick, the last UCLA head coach, our colleague at CBS Sports. Mother, Susan, also a UCLA alum. Neuheisel completes his first pass of 2015, his first completion. That goes to Alex Van Dyke.
You notice UCLA's running a lot more tempo with Neuheisel in there. They want to get him some good high-quality reps. What that offense could be, where he'd need to come in there.
Neuheisel, that's a lateral backwards pass. Steven Johnson makes catch on the lateral. So Josh Rosen, night appears to be complete. So that is the 2nd straight week, 22 completions, 11 different receivers. That's exactly what he had last week against Virginia, completing passes to 11 different receivers.
UCLA traveled 17 to this game. They are deep and talented at that position.
Interception thrown by Neuheisel. A run back, a chance for UNLV to maybe get on the board. Inside the 5, finally dragged down. Kenny Keys gets the interception. There is a flag, but Keys picks it off and takes it back inside the 5. Yep, the officials huddle to discuss that one.
Kenny Keys just broke on the football. A little bit of telegraphed off that play action.
During the return, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Number 21 of the intercepting team, 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. 1st down, UNLV.
And that's going to bring it all the way back to the 41.
That's a huge, costly penalty. Here's Keys right here. He's just going to break on the foot and first. But this football's got to either come out sooner and not be thrown. The receiver had to wait on it. Neuheisel telegraphed it, and Keys took care of the rest. It's an unfortunate mistake. But a good heads-up play that time by the safety, Kenny Keys.
So Keys takes it back inside the 5, but because of the 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul all the way back out to the 41, Palandek scrambling again, heaving again, and it's incomplete, intended for Devontae Boyd, out of bounds. Aaron Wallace there in coverage. Aaron Wallace with the pressure, rather.
Palandek's got to be careful with the football. It's just not 3 flies up. That was a game we used to play in the street as kids, where you throw the football as high as you could, and whoever was the first to catch it 3 times got the football. That's what some of his passes tonight have reminded me of.
What was it called again?
3 flies up. Come on, tell me you played that, at least with baseball.
No, I think 3 flies up is in the rotation. That's Whiteley on the carry to the 35 for UNLV.
Play selection in this second half has been quite a bit different for this UNLV team, with Palandek in there. In the first half, they were pretty balanced, but this second half, 23 runs and only 5 passes. They're going to have to find a way to be more balanced as they head into conference play.
3rd and 4. Palandek slant, incomplete. Knocked away at the last second, intended for Devontae Boyd.
I think UNLV needs to probably go for this. Good tight coverage that time. The way you beat man coverage is to isolate or cross. That was just a simple crossing route.
Denzel Fisher knocks it away.
Yeah, it was good tight coverage that time by Fisher, timing up the batting away of the football. And like I thought UNLV would do, they're going to go for it here on 4th down. They don't want a big goose egg on that scoreboard by the end of the game. They had their chance to score, Carter. They're going to take a timeout here to talk about it.
Timeout UNLV. So, that play that Aaron just mentioned was UNLV's best scoring opportunity of the night. The only time they've been in the red zone. Go for the fake field goal, and UCLA was not buying it. Hawthorne wrestled down by Hollis. Then Kenny Young pick 6.
Just a poor decision in not protecting the football. Then a fumble, whether it was ball handling or throwing interceptions. Special teams miscues. UNLV a lot of times was its own worst enemy tonight.
Well, it's going to be a tough challenge for Tony Sanchez to pick up the pieces after this one, because next week it's at Michigan at the Big House. So you're 0-2. You have they were up on Northern Illinois 17-3 in the second a week ago. Northern Illinois comes back and beats them. 4th and 4. Palandek rolling, throwing complete. That's Devontae Boyd who makes the grab. Flag is down.
Beautiful ball that time by Palandek. Boot right, move the release point. That might be a pick.
Nope.
5-yard penalty. Repeat, 4th down.
Oh, man. Legal shift. And again, a costly miscue. We just saw them had what almost was a pick 6. It was down inside the 5-yard line. He brought back all the way to midfield. Now they converted what was Palandek's best throw of the night, gets negated because of an illegal shift.
Bringing it back to 4th and 9.
Much, much, much tougher conversion.
Time to throw. Palandek dragging Devontae Boyd, and he is wrestled down as soon as Devontae Boyd makes the grab. And there is another flag. Nope. John Johnson there on the tackle. No flag. UCLA comes up with another 4th down stop. They're in command.
College football on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by Avocados from Mexico. Fresh all year long. By Kubota. For Earth, for life. And by Allegra Gel Caps. Not just fast, Allegra fast. Starts working in 1 hour. Use as directed.
East of the Strip in Las Vegas, Nevada, it has been a good trip for the UCLA Bruins. Up 37-0. UNLV had an interception and a chance to score on the last trip. Jerry Neuheisel's pass is incomplete. Off the hands of Nate Starks.
Interested to see what type of competitive toughness and poise Jerry Neuheisel has after throwing that interception. The first pass a little off target there. My guess is he'll settle down here, throw some high percentage passes, start moving the chains.
Pull a run for me straight ahead across midfield. A true freshman getting some good reps tonight in Las Vegas. One of those two true freshman running backs. You have Soso Gamabo and Bolo Olorunfemi. Both getting reps behind Perkins and Starks. Give it to Olorunfemi again. Shedding tacklers, taking a pop as he gets near the first down. Olorunfemi, tough running. Kenny Keys lays the hit. And it looks like Kemble Jensen slow getting up.
UNLV having trouble bringing down a lot of the runners tonight. Physical hit there by Keys. A lot of first contact and arm tackles getting broken tonight on this UNLV Rebel defense.
Olorunfemi with 56 rushing yards. The true freshman from Clovis, California's North High School. Kemble Jensen being helped from one side of the field to the other. All right, Aaron, for UCLA, we're going to go to 2-0. The win over Virginia at home in the Rose Bowl. They win the road opener, so the Bruins will be 2-0. We'll fumble the mouthpiece there. But what are the biggest challenges, you think, moving forward for this UCLA team as they move towards the Pac-12? As Neuheisel completes it on the outside, sprinting for another UCLA first down. So what are those challenges? What do you think the biggest challenges ahead are for UCLA?
I think it's to play consistently. Last year they were a 10-win team, but they didn't play well a week after playing a big game for them. They beat down Arizona State.
Personal foul. Offense number 71. Unnecessary roughness. 15-yard penalty. First down.
They beat down ASU last year and then lost the next 2 games back-to-back to Utah and Oregon. Now, granted, those teams were ranked, but then they beat their crosstown rival USC and then lost at home to an unranked Stanford team. So when you look at this schedule, the Pac-12 South is a deep, deep conference. That division in the conference from top to bottom is going to be pretty challenging. At Stanford, that's not going to be an easy game. At Utah, that's never easy. At USC, there's some tough road games for UCLA. But they've got time to bring their quarterback along, get that offensive line going, rely on Paul Perkins to keep things going, and get some of the depth on that defensive side, even more reps. But I'm telling you, if they can get some consistent play out of the quarterback position, this team has a chance to go really, really deep for the Pac-12 title this year.
So Pac-12 South, I mean, you would have said a week ago. In fact, I believe you did say a week ago.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. You talking about Arizona State and Cal Poly right now?
Inside College Football will have a very important update on Arizona State and Cal Poly. They are locked in a tight one right now in the 4th after Arizona State's opening loss to Texas A&M. But, well, UCLA is going to get the most dramatic team in college football, those BYU Cougars at home with the Rose Bowl, as that pass is incomplete. After the the Hail Mary win a week ago for BYU, and then a come-from-behind win against Boise State. That's the next opponent for the UCLA Bruins before they open up the Pac-12 schedule at Arizona, whom you saw beat Nevada earlier tonight on CBS Sports Network.
UCLA's got a pretty good defensive backfield. Is it going to be 3 Hail Marys in a row?
Neuheisel's knocked away, intercepted again. Picked off, second INT, and another chance for a run back for UNLV. Inside the 15-yard line, Trent Langham, the junior middle linebacker. So that's 2 interceptions, 2 big run backs in the bid to break the shutout. A 63-yard return from Trent Langham.
As a receiver in man coverage, you have to keep moving because the defensive backs continue to do so. I don't think that was on Jerry Neuheisel. He put that ball on him. The receiver needs to keep coming back to the football so that he can have a chance to be the only guy to catch this football. That's a tough break for number 11, throwing his second pick here in the 4th quarter.
Off the hands of Sokowski, so and now another chance for UNLV to try and avoid the first home shutout since 2003. Handoff on first down to Whiteley. So Aaron Wallace there on the stop. So Tony Sanchez in the home debut trying to avoid the first shutout at Sam Boyd Stadium for the Rebels since John Robinson's team in 2003 lost a game 7-0 to San Diego State.
They had their opportunity here earlier. If it gets to 4th down here, I would kick the field goal, get that goose egg off the scoreboard.
Palandek to the end zone, incomplete. By the way, it's not going to happen tonight, but UNLV's last win over a ranked opponent at home, 1984, when Randall Cunningham and the Rebels beat 20th ranked Cal State Fullerton.
Wow.
Augie Garrido was not the coach of that Fullerton team.
All right, here you have 3rd and long. Don't take any chances. Do a quarterback draw, run a screen. I wouldn't even run a screen. Hand it to the running back, or the quarterback uses his legs to get to midfield.
Palandek on 3rd and 10 to the goal line again. It's incomplete off the hands of Criswell.
Again, pretty decent protection this time. Stares down the receiver, puts the football up, but the receiver just turns, loses sight of the football. I would have preferred on that play before to get the football to the middle of the field, because at this angle, this is a tough angle on the field goal kicker, being this close on the 15-yard line. But I like it here. Trying to get that goose egg off in this game with something positive. I like this decision.
Bornan from 32 yards. No more 0 on the scoreboard for UNLV. So the interception turns into the first points of the night for the Rebels. Bornan boots it through. There was a fake field goal the first trip to the red zone for UNLV. On the second trip, Bornan's 32-yarder at least puts UNLV on the board. They avoid the shutout. Well, number 13, UCLA is cruising to a win. Desert. That tough one for Oregon on the road at Michigan State. Arizona survives the trip to Reno. But Arizona State is no longer ranked. They're in a tight one with Cal Poly right now. Pac-12 South. How does it stack up right now, Aaron, 2 weeks in?
Well, I tell you what, USC's looked pretty explosive offensively, defensively. They're a pretty good unit on that side of the football as well. I don't know what the heck's going on with Arizona State. They're a mess on both sides of the football. UCLA has a real chance to do some things in that division this year and maybe take the Pac-12 South Championship out of the state of Arizona. But that Utah team, they get Travis Wilson healthy. He's got a pretty banged up shoulder. It doesn't look good. But nobody wants to go to Salt Lake City and have to play Utah, and that's something that UCLA is going to have to do this year.
Fuller's going to bring it out across the 20 to the 30-yard line.
Great job,
and flags come in. That is the tough tackling kicker, Bournand, the former linebacker and kicker, but he may have drawn the flag, tackling a little too tough on Fuller.
After the play was over, personal foul, kicking team number 40, 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. First down.
Well, Bournand's a tough tackler on the kickoffs as the kicker, but too tough this time, out of bounds on Fuller.
You love the toughness, but the foolish penalties you could probably do without. But again, I think something that I've noticed differently tonight about this UNLV team, with the game well out of hand, these guys are still playing hard. They're still flying around to the football. They're still doing the best they can. And because of that, I'm encouraged for what this program has a chance to do.
Pass incomplete off the hands of Ola. Run for me on the screen. So here's the challenge ahead for UNLV. You're going to be 0-2 after this one. Then it's at Michigan. So you're staring 0-3, most likely coming home to play Idaho State, and then open up the Mountain West with a rivalry game at Nevada.
Well, you look at that non-conference slate up at the top. Nobody did them any favors with the scheduling gods, if you will. But still, they have a chance to be able to get in the conference play. Is this team good enough to be a bowl team? Probably not this year. It'll be a 3 or 4 year process to rebuild it. But I like what I've seen so far in 2 weeks in year one of Tony Sanchez.
Fuller run for me across the 45. Rosen and the rest of the UCLA starters watch. And by the way, Bobby Houck, the last coach at UNLV, UCLA alum, took him to a bowl game 2 years ago. It's only the 4th time that UNLV's been to a bowl game. It's just been nearly impossible to sustain success here at UNLV. Bobby Houck now on the staff at San Diego State.
Well, to change a program, the first thing you have to do is come in and change the culture. You have to give it your own identity, probably get rid of some riffraff, but then you have to develop the guys that you already have on your roster, and that's strength and conditioning, teaching guys how to work to the level of what your expectation is.
Neuheisel throwing, it's incomplete.
Beautiful ball there that got dropped again by Jerry Neuheisel. That was perfect location. His receivers aren't helping them out at all. But after the strength and conditioning, then it's a recruiting trail. You got to get new bodies and new guys. I mean, the closest schools to UNLV that they're competing with are USC and UCLA. That's not an easy task. And then I think the final piece is you have to try and somehow compete in the arms race for facilities. That's something that a lot of people here locally are encouraged with Tony Sanchez's ties to various people and different business endeavors here in Las Vegas area to maybe get some of those donations. We saw some of the changes they've made with the field and the playing surface.
4th and short. UCLA runs it to try and run out the clock, getting across the 25-yard line. Tony Sanchez talked about how in his life early on, he was a wide receiver in high school, recruited by a lot of schools, including Pac-10 schools, but went to Laney Junior College. Now they keep on fighting, and that's what's required here for the Rebels. It's UCLA passing in the last minute and a half.
Probably want to get the young backup quarterback some reps. The game's well out of hand, but this is good experience for a quarterback who hasn't had some success tonight throwing the football. We can be honest about that, but he's also not had any help because all the backups in there that are dropping the football when he does throw beautiful balls.
Roosevelt Davis gets the carry. 1 minute to go with UCLA up 34 points. Still running hurry up with a 37-3 lead. I mean, this is a point where you could get people hurt.
And there was almost somebody that got hurt. In fact, there is a UCLA player hurt on that last play.
There's a UCLA player hurt in a 37-3 game as they continue to run hurry up.
That's Tabita Halililo. Freshman lineman, the coaches said that they wanted to get a chance to take a look at. But he gets undercut from the backside, to your point, Carter. Taking unnecessary risks, and Halililo's a player that's already been battling some injuries here through camp.
UCLA has an opportunity to run the football, run the clock. Going hurry up, passing. And now an injured Bruin with 38 seconds left in a game that could be over.
Yeah, you wonder what they're thinking, taking those unnecessary risks. You want to get your guys reps, but with a game this out of hand, they're going to be down one promising lineman moving forward as a result.
And UCLA not even seeking to bleed clock on this last drive. Running hurry up. And now an injured Bruin with 38 seconds left in a 37-3 game in the fourth quarter. Tavita Halililo is the injured offensive lineman for UCLA on the last drive for the Bruins. And exactly what no one wanted to see at the end of this one.
See the trainer there pumping up what appears to be an air cast to stabilize that leg. You have to wonder if Jim Moore is going to question his decisions or the thought process, but trying to run plays here at the end of the game when there were other options. Counter argument to that, though, is that football is a game that you play and injuries happen. But it does seem senseless now that you have a player down on the ground.
And hopefully Havalilo's okay.
I'll tell you this, I don't care what the injury is for any player around the country. When you go down, it's your heart that hurts more than anything else. The emotional pain of all your hard work and everything that you put in, not knowing whether or not you're going to get to do that or not, that is by far worse than the pain of any injury I've ever felt anyway. A lot of the guys I played with say the same thing. It's part of the game, but it's not a fun part.
It's closer.
And Jerry Neuheisel over there with the word of encouragement for Halililo.
So you get home.
Air cast on the right leg for Halililo in 38 seconds in a 34-point game. An injured Bruin being carted off.
Look at that leadership of Jerry Neuheisel right there. I was going to say, Halililo's putting it on that golf cart. They might need to counterbalance up there on the front. He's a big dude to be all the way that far back on the golf cart.
Halililo carted off. And I believe the referee, Kevin Marr, is coming over to the sideline. Ten-second runoff, 28 seconds. And a 37-3 game. And now fourth down for UCLA. Clock rolling. You can see the difference between now 2 to 3 second differential. Just a matter of closing it out for UCLA now. Now zeros on the clock, but there's the penalty flag for delay of game. There's going to be a change of possession. UNLV will have it with 2 seconds.
3 seconds on the game clock, please.
3 seconds. It will still be fourth down. This is the final play. And that finally closes out a 37-3 win for UCLA over UNLV. 8 straight road wins for Jim Moore's UCLA Bruins. So the first meeting on the football field between the Rebels and the Bruins goes to UCLA 37-3. Josh Rosen there to shake hands with Tony Sanchez as well. So Rosen with a touchdown pass tonight. 233 passing yards for Rosen in the game. But Paul Perkins is our Advocare champion of the game. Paul Perkins, Pac-12's leading rusher from a year ago with a pair of touchdowns tonight.
Love Perkins' ability to run the football. He's a tough physical runner, but also has the ability to make people miss in space, and he's also got that high-end gear that once he gets to the second level, he can make you pay. What a tremendous night for Paul Perkins on the ground.
Averaging over 8 yards a carry, 151 rushing yards for Paul Perkins. After only 59 yards versus Virginia a week ago, Perkins is able to bounce back in game number 2, first road game of the year for the UCLA Bruins. And it goes 37-3, UCLA over UNLV, with Paul Perkins leading the way. Paul Perkins is with Jenny Dell.
Paul, 151 yards, 2 touchdowns. How do you evaluate your performance tonight?
Man, I really just based it off of the O-line, man. They had a great game today. I'm just really happy for them.
Josh Rosen, I mean, outstanding performance once again from him. What impresses you most about the freshman quarterback?
I think his poise in the pocket. I mean, his command on the field and his leadership is it's really outstanding for a freshman.
38 seconds left to go. Halalilu goes down. What's it like as a player watching one of your teammates get injured?
Oh, it's never good when anybody gets injured, either side of the ball. So, I mean, it's a loss. Hopefully he's okay. So we'll just go in the locker room and pray for him.
Congratulations on the win. Thank you very much.
Paul Perkins and the UCLA Bruins come to Las Vegas and win it 37-3 over UNLV. Number 13 UCLA 2-0 with a win tonight over the Rebels. For Aaron Taylor, Jenny Dell, our entire crew, I'm Carter Blackburn. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. So long from Las Vegas. Now we take you back to our New York studio inside college football. Brent Stover, Christian Fourier standing by. A full recap of the college football day.